Welcome back to the Nikki Clarke Radio Show on wearehotline.net. And joining us today is a formidable woman in the community. She is an academic, a cross-cultural expert, and she just recently launched the Badges to Bridges, an online cross-cultural training program for law enforcement professionals in Canada and the United States. Could you please welcome Dr. Anita Jack-Davies to the show? How are you doing today, Dr. Anita?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for your time. So please let us know, how did you come into becoming an academic and cross-cultural expert?
I started off teaching in Toronto's Jane Finch community. It's often described as a high immigrant community. And often portrayed in the media as what I consider negatively with respect to crime and whatnot. But that is the community that got me thinking about going to grad school, because I actually didn't understand what I was seeing and what I was experiencing at the school, and nothing in my teacher education had really prepared me to teach in that kind of community. And so once I got to grad school, I really started thinking more seriously about issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion, especially as it relates to Black youth.
Right. Okay. Now, in the Jane and Finch community, as you mentioned, it's kind of like a transition community for a number of people, immigrants coming in and getting resettled. Jane and Finch has changed quite a bit. The face of Jane and Finch has changed, I would say, probably over the last 10 years. What's going on now? Are you still, in the pulse of Jane and Finch, and still connected with what's happening there in terms of just learning experiences for people in that area?
Well, I would say my connection is more through the teachers that I had taught with, and learning from them in terms of what's happening. I don't have a formal connection in the sense that I don't go to the community to work. But each year I go to there's something called, I think it's a summer institute that Dr. Carl James puts on at York University. And that summer institute talks about what's happening with respect to multicultural education, anti-racist education, with a real strong focus on communities like the Jane Finch community. So I try to get back to that every year to keep myself grounded and just to keep my ear to what is happening like on the ground in that community.
Exactly. Okay. Fantastic. And so who are the people who are involved in your Badges to Bridges online cross-cultural training program? You say it's geared for law enforcement professionals. So how do they know about it? How do they get involved?
Okay, my program is brand new. It's officially being launched on February the 1st, but I'm doing a soft launch right now. So I really appreciate being on your show today just to be given the chance to talk about it. I feel very passionate. Oh, thank you very much. I feel very passionate about this program, and that's because I want this program to make a change. I created this program. It took me about approximately 8 months working day in, day out to create the program, and it's an online program for law enforcement professionals, and it is basically a self-directed online course, but the course really focuses on strategies that law enforcement can utilize when they're working within an African American community or even a Latino community. And I thought it was important to state that at the outset, because I think often we try to erase differences as if, we shouldn't be talking about police working within particular communities. I'm here to say, actually, I think we actually do need to talk about that, because I think that will help in solving some of the problems.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and it's all about setting the stage for dialogue.
Absolutely.
So that other means are not used to resolving situations, and violence is not anyway a way of resolving anything. So that's a wonderful thing that you're putting together for the community, and I'm sure it's a very pro-social way for law enforcement officers to find a way to use their skills in another way through interpersonal communication and skill sharpening, which you're providing for them. So, in summary, like, could you mention some of the things that you go over with them in the online training?
Yes. So the Badges to Bridges program can be accessed online. Users will need to have Google Chrome in order to get into the course. And law enforcement agencies will work with me if they're interested in purchasing the license for the program. They can purchase a 1, 2, or 3-year license. The program costs between $15.99 and $99.99 per user. And once the license is purchased, then that police officer can go into the online training. The training is made up of 6 modules, and the first module really just orients the user into the course. And the second module looks at things like frequently used terms, things like letting the officers know that change takes a long time to happen, but that we need to start with education. And then we go into things like what is bias, what is a stereotype, what is prejudice. A lot of the I would say the terms that officers need to be keeping aware in the back of their minds as they work cross-culturally. And then in module 3, we look into things like, what is body language? What does your body language say when you have an interaction with a resident? This program is based in research, right? So I did a lot of academic research and read a lot of studies with African American residents saying, when the police officer stopped me, even before we started talking, I could tell by the officer's body language that either he or she didn't want to be there, they did not have a lot of experience in the African American community, or they were spoken to in a very disrespectful manner. So the point of talking about issues like topics like body language is so that the officer is actually being self-aware enough to say, what is my body language communicating even before I open my mouth? And, can I maybe change my body language to ensure that the interaction might be a little bit more positive than if I wasn't even thinking about it? So in module 3, for example, we go into data. So I look at, what is the, median income for the African American community? What are the unemployment rates for the African American community and the Latino community? There's information like what are the highest, Latino communities in terms of population across the United States. And I include that kind of information because I know based on my research that police officers are very sort of technical, rational. They like numbers. They like to see the facts. And I was basically trying to say, if you look at crime and if you look at all these other factors, you will see that there's a link. So when you're policing in these communities, you have to kind of remember that there are all of these other social issues, poverty, unemployment, that are often, informing what you're seeing in that community. And then in module 5, we actually take a look at some scenarios. So, when we talk about discrimination, what might that look like within a particular community, and what might that look like with a specific scenario that a police officer might encounter. And that way, all of the scenarios are sort of directly linked to policing. And then in module 6, I basically talk about police services organizations in general, trying to talk about how those institutions can become more inclusive. And I think that might be more pertinent to the leaders and to chiefs and to people who are sort of trying to enact change. So that's just a quick overview of all of the modules.
Fantastic. I think this is just an amazing thing that you're doing for the law enforcement community and the community at large, because policing isn't just about police officers. Policing is about the community working together.
Absolutely.
So it's a great way to help with sensitivities, culturally, communication, there's so many factors relating to it that can just improve the lives of others. So it's really a wonderful thing that you've done. So tell me a little bit about you and how you've been transformed by this project.
You know, it's been, I feel like I just gave birth to a baby. I mean, I've got a daughter. She means everything to me. But this program was placed on my heart, and even though there are times when I am actually scared of putting this program out there, I know that it will change the lives of many people. And one of the reasons why I named the program Badges to Bridges, the bridges part is so important. It's because of something you had just mentioned. Policing is about, to me, is about connecting with people. And when I'm stopped by a police officer, I'm connecting with an individual. That individual has the power to change my life. And I need to talk about building bridges across, individuals, because so much is at stake. And so I'm hoping that by naming the program Badges to Bridges, we're not just talking about the work that police officers are doing, but we're talking about what impact are they having in the communities that they're serving. And if we're not talking about who African Americans are and who Latinos are and then various other ethnic groups, I feel like we're missing part of the conversation that's so important. And the way in which I've been changed is I am a lot more aware of just how fragile life is. When I am watching on the TV and seeing that either someone has, been shot or that people are marching in the streets, I'm realizing this is a situation that, a lot of people care deeply about. And I had to ask myself some really important questions like, how can you use your skills and talents to solve or help solve the problem? I just don't want to sit back and watch CNN. I want to jump in and say, here are all of my skills. Here are all of my talents. These are all of the things that I've been gifted with, and now I can help. I'm not a protester with a bullhorn. That's not me, but I am someone who can sit down and create something that others can use.
Wow. Now, how you have a child now, boy or girl?
She's a girl. Her name is Kennedy.
Kennedy. So when Kennedy is old enough to understand who Kennedy is, about 2 or 2.5, and she's understanding more as she gets older about all the things that you've done, what a wonderful role model you are for her, and
Thank you.
Other Black girls out there. You're
Thank you.
really paving a path for so many people. That is very different, and I really have to say that it takes a lot of courage to do what you do. Honestly,
thank you.
So I tip my hat to what you've done, and I know it's just the tip of the iceberg of all the many things that are going to come from this particular project. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Now we're anticipating how we can connect with you. There are people who are listening in Toronto, in parts of Canada, in New York, parts of other parts of the United States, and even out in Australia. How can we connect with you about this Badges to Bridges program?
Okay, I'm still in the process of getting everything organized, but right now they can go to my website, www.drAnitaJack-Davies.com, and that's DRANITA jackdavies.com. And under the Cross-Cultural Institute, there's information about the Badges to Bridges program. In a few days, I will have a course link up where they can actually connect to the link itself. But the course is actually hidden, so only buyers interested in actually talking about purchasing the program will be able to see the entire curriculum. But I will have a snapshot of the curriculum available for anyone that wants to take a look.
Excellent. Dr. Anita, I just want to thank you for your time. You've opened up my mind to so many different things, and like I said, the type of involvement that you have in this, it's a cross-cultural dialogue with the law enforcement officers and with the community is a fantastic step forward. So thank you for that. And
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to having you on the Nikki Clarke Show coming up January 27th, live
Perfect.
at the Pink Box Bistro, 555 Dundas Street East. So if you're in Toronto and you'd like to meet Dr. Anita Jack-Davies, please come and see her, have a chat with her. It's at 4 p.m. January 27th at the Pink Box Bistro. Dr. Anita, thank you again. We wish you the best, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Have a great day. More than
okay,
welcome.
bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Now.